Hello everybody, welcome to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. I am your host Rusty Peace, and we got another great show in store for you tonight. Got a lot to talk about in terms of last week's output from the LMU Athletics Department, and we're going to recap everything that took place over the last few days. Our guest tonight is Josh Schertz, and it's hard to believe that we're already into the mid of the month of October, and practice for the 2015-16 season officially underway. We'll talk with him about his 2015-16 Railsplitters and their upcoming schedule. It's going to be a very rigorous one, and they're going to be thrown into the fire right away. That's coming up a little bit later on. Excuse me. But we've got a lot to talk about in terms of the previous week in athletics, and we'll be back with that right after this.
It's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Subway of Harrigan and Middlesboro has your fresh interest at heart. On your way to work, try one of our mouth-watering breakfast sandwiches or flatbread omelets. If it's lunch or dinner you're after, choose from a wide selection of classic, select, or premium sandwiches that are all made specifically to order. Serving a crowd, Subway also has sandwich planners, giant subs, box lunches, and even cookie platters. Be it dine-in or carry-out, you can eat healthy and eat fresh at Subway. 368 Catawba Avenue in Harrigan and on the corner of the Village Square Mall, Middlesboro. If you love your car or truck, let us help you keep it clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's has unlimited wash plans to fit every budget. Try our $5 express wash or one of our 3 monthly wash plans. The Wheel Deal, the Soapy J, or the new Blast Wax. With our monthly wash plans, if you pay with credit card, all you do is pay for the present month and your card will be billed on the first of each month. Don't forget, Soapy J's has free vacuums with any wash. Soapy J's Express Car Wash, open 7 days a week. Let us help keep your car or truck clean at Soapy J's. Soapy J's on the Cumberland Gap Parkway, Middlesboro.
Welcome back. Over the weekend, 6 former Lincoln Memorial University athletes and coaches were inducted into the LMU Athletes Hall of Fame as the class of 2015. Jerry Loftus of the men's basketball program, Kenny Woods from the baseball and men's basketball program, Rick Bird, who coached the men's basketball program in the early 80s, and Kelly Kaiser Roberts and Helena Sokolova, both of the women's tennis program, as well as Brad Froning, who, by the way, is the only known male athlete at Lincoln Memorial to have played 3 sports, baseball, basketball, and golf, are all inducted as this year's class. The event took place in the Tex Turner Arena Saturday morning and has become a staple among the homecoming festivities each year.
The ceremony was a great opportunity. It inducted 6 former LMU athletes that were great assets to the university and athletics programs. They really were quite successful. It was a great ceremony and had a great turnout, and we were very blessed to have the event.
If you know of someone who played for Lincoln Memorial University at least 6 years ago and that could be a potential candidate for the LMU Athletes Hall of Fame, contact committee chairman Jody Wright at jody.wright@knoxschools.org. And turning to volleyball, the Lincoln Memorial University Lady Railsplitters over the weekend got off to a great note Friday when Jenny Michael and her club traveled down to Greenwood, South Carolina for the SAC versus Peach Belt Conference Challenge. In the opening match, the momentum the Lady Railsplitters had built over the past couple of weeks by winning 3 consecutive matches and 4 out of their last 5 carried into Greenville when the LMU women defeated Peach Belt Conference opponent Francis Marion in straight sets 25-19, 25-17, and 28-26 to improve to 8-6 on the year. Moving along with that, later that day, again, LMU seemed to be dominant and destined to win, opening play with Lander by reeling off a 25-17 decision over the Bearcats in the opening set. However, that's where the Lady Railsplitter train came to a screeching halt. Feeling the urgency of the matter, Lander came storming back to run the table in the next 3 sets to steal a 3-1 victory over Lincoln Memorial with 25-23, 25-11, and 25-22 wins. The setback lingered into the final match of the weekend when LMU's women lost to the University of South Carolina Aiken. Having lost to the Pacers in the opening match of the season 3-0 down in Savannah to open the year, the Lady Railsplitters entered Saturday's match looking for revenge while trying to bounce back from Friday's loss, but there was none to be found as USC Aiken won the second tight decision of the year over Lincoln Memorial in straight sets 25-18, 25-21, and 25-19 to drop the Lady Railsplitters to 8-8 on the season. Michael and her squad now resume their conference schedule with the SAC tournament just over a month away. Friday evening, the Lady Railsplitters travel to Brevard, North Carolina to take on the Tornadoes of Brevard College before moving over to Hickory, North Carolina on Saturday to play the Bears of Lenoir-Rhyne and then playing Tuesday evening in a road match with the Pioneers of Tusculum College in Greenville. The Lady Railsplitters return to the home floor Friday evening, October 23rd, when they play host to the Royals of Queens University. Saturday morning, Jeremy Donahue and his cross-country teams participated in their final meet before the upcoming SAC Championship to be run this year in Pineville, Kentucky at Wasiota Winds Golf Course. Both teams traveled down to Greenville, South Carolina for the Gene Mullen Invitational held at Furman University. The Lady Railsplitters finished 7th in that event, while the LMU men placed 6th. And earlier this week, we talked about the advantages of the weekend's event as his teams prepare for the SAC Championship.
One last real hard race type effort for both our men and our women. A little bit smaller field, a field that was similar in size to what conference will be here in a couple weeks. So it gave them, after coming off some big races, a chance to just hone in on a smaller field, practice racing head-to-head with competitors, not so much just getting in and running a time trial type race. And for our women, where we've mixed and matched a lot this season, it was more beneficial to get a few of those ladies in there that's had a few less races, or the ones that are feeling good, get one last hard effort in. But more than anything, it was just getting around there healthy, so we have everybody back for a conference. And then for our men, it was just a real strong field, and they raced something a little bit shorter, faster than the 8K distance, something they were more familiar with. And so, like I say, gave them a chance, one last hard effort, but something they could come back off of, and we could get a good hard workout in this week before conference.
This year marks the first time Lincoln Memorial will serve as the host institution for the South Atlantic Conference Cross Country Championship. The event will run Saturday morning, October 24th at Wasiota Winds Golf Course. And turning to women's soccer, over the weekend, Helly O'Dana and his Lady Railsplitters played host to the Wolves of Newberry College at the LMU Soccer Complex during homecoming festivities Saturday afternoon. Despite the partisan Lady Railsplitter crowd, the Wolves gave no thought to the celebration as Newberry's Valerie Newcomb scored her first goal of the year at 29:07 to give her team a 1-0 lead, a long kick that got past LMU keeper Catherine Lundy. Newberry's advantage carried throughout the remainder of the first half and into the second before the Wolves' Elizabeth Gutierrez caught a deflected shot and slammed it in to give Newberry the 2-0 lead in the 59th minute. The Lady Railsplitters weren't able to capitalize offensively until the 77th minute when senior forward Olivia Thompson scored on a direct free kick to pull her team to within a goal. That's as close as the LMU women got as Newberry spoiled homecoming with a 2-1 win over Lincoln Memorial. And after the match, Helly O'Dana talked about the loss.
We were the better team in the first half, and they found a goal. And at the end of the day, we outshot them, outpossessed them, out-hustled them, and they found a couple of soft goals. That's how it is.
Monday afternoon, the LMU women went to take the field again when they played host to regional opponent Converse College at the LMU Soccer Complex while trying to snap a 3-match losing streak. The Lady Railsplitters also entered Monday's match having failed to tally a goal in the past 195 minutes of action and needed until the 36th minute of the match to get one against the Valkyries and get the offense rolling. LMU senior Madison Rivard entered the match late in the first half and placed a ball over the keeper's head on a hard angle from the right side that found its way into the goal. Only minutes later, Converse tied the match when Nicole Doolittle scored her 4th goal of the season with help from teammate Claudia Coffin to even the match at 1-1. After going to the intermission with a tie score, LMU senior Josephine Hedstrom put the Lady Railsplitters ahead with a 2-1 lead when she scored unassisted on a spectacular shot off the right side after making a move around the defense. LMU's lead carried until the 89th minute when it looked as though Lincoln Memorial would cruise to the victory. That's when the Lady Railsplitter defense suffered a massive breakdown, and Converse forward Darby Boyd used a pass by teammate Emily Berry to even the match at 2-2 when she chipped a shot in past the LMU keeper at 88:01. With the match now looking as though it would go to overtime, LMU fans were making preparations for the extra minutes, but the Valkyries didn't. Somehow Converse went on the offensive and put a ball into the box again. Efforts to shoot were made by Converse in the crowd, while attempts to clear the ball were made from Lincoln Memorial. In the midst of the defensive exchange, an attempt to clear the ball was made and ricocheted off of one of the Lady Railsplitter players and into the frame to give the Valkyries a lead with 30 seconds to play on an own goal. Despite LMU's effort to tie the match in the final 30 seconds, the Lady Railsplitters suffered a heartbreaking 3-2 loss after leading most of the contest, and following the loss, head coach Helly O'Dana was clearly disappointed.
Once again, we did all the little things, you know, we outpossessed them, outplayed them, all created chances to score. I got to be patient, freshman and this and that, but you're below 2 minutes to go. You have the ball. You can kill 3 minutes on the corner. We're yelling at these girls, kill the clock. That's what they would have done to us. Now they got to enjoy a loss, you know.
4 matches now remain on the Lady Railsplitter schedule. This weekend, LMU will travel to Hartsville, South Carolina for a conference matchup with the Cobras of Coker. The Lincoln Memorial women take the field at 1 o'clock, still playing for one of the top 8 spots in the upcoming SAC tournament. And best of luck to the Lady Railsplitters. The Lincoln Memorial University men's soccer team snapped a 2-match losing streak Saturday afternoon when they gave the 2015 homecoming crowd a lot to cheer about with a 5-0 win over the Wolves from Newberry. After suffering back-to-back losses to nationally ranked Wingate University and arch-rival Carson Newman in a 6-day period, the Railsplitters dominated every aspect of the match in Saturday's win over Newberry. Lincoln Memorial forward Danilo da Silva got the rout started with help from teammate Lucas Coro in the 11th minute when he took Coro's pass and chipped it past the Wolves' keeper to give LMU the 1-0 lead. Less than 12 minutes later, senior Leonardo da Silva got help from teammate Henrique Rezic with a quick pass for a diving shot to give LMU the 2-0 advantage at the 23-16 mark. Still on the attack, Rezic generated his own offense just prior to the end of the first half when he dribbled past several Newberry defenders to score for a 3-0 LMU lead that carried into the intermission. Although the goal by Rezic was his first of the season, the Railsplitter newcomer wasn't done. A little under 15 minutes into the second half, Rezic again found the back of the net when he was assisted by teammates and countrymen Danilo da Silva and Rafael Beta for his second goal and his 5th point of the match. Lincoln Memorial's final goal of the afternoon came when freshman newcomer Victor Perez placed a spectacular shot into the back upper corner of the frame to give the Railsplitters a 5-0 margin of victory. That came from about 40 yards out. After the match, I talked with our Old Town Grill University Medical Clinic player of the match, Henrique Rezic, about the win.
Yeah, we knew that they're going to play high. I mean, they're coming from a lot of losses, so they needed this win. So since the beginning, we played hard. We tried to fill the pitch well, and then we created our chances. I mean, we were loud and outgoing, so we had the chances, and we were lucky to put it in.
Railsplitters have been idle since last Saturday and will take the field this weekend when they travel to Hartsville, South Carolina to take on the Cobras from Coker. The match is one of 4 regular season bouts remaining on the schedule and one of 2 on the road. In talking with Helly O'Dana, his stretch of the next 4 matches will prove to be critical in how the Railsplitters finish in the regular season race.
Yeah, if you early in the year told me that knowing what I had to go through in September, I would have been just 2 losses in, I would have been happy. But now I think we could have been undefeated now, you know. So that's the mentality they got to take from here now. Let's go undefeated.
The weekend's action gets underway at 3:30 in Hartsville for the Railsplitters and will follow the Lady Railsplitters bout with the Cobras that is set to get started at 1 o'clock. Moving over to tennis, after the ITA Men's Southeast Regionals were canceled for the past 2 consecutive weekends, LMU head coach Benny Collins and his men's and women's tennis teams traveled to nearby Williamsburg, Kentucky over the weekend to participate in the University of the Cumberland's Fall Classic. Earlier this week, we caught up with Coach Collins down at the Petite Tennis Fieldhouse and got his thoughts on how his teams played over the weekend.
What was going on there was the University of Cumberland's Fall Invite Tournament. There was 4 teams in the men's division and only 2 teams in the women's division. You had LMU, University of Cumberland's, Union College, and Bellarmine University from Louisville. We'll start off with the ladies first. You know, since the ladies only had 1 team to play, Bellarmine's teams was on fall break, and so the girls elected, they were all gone, so they didn't come. Union's girls didn't come because part of them plays volleyball. So we only had the University of Cumberland's to play, which is a very good team. Coach Stan's always got a good team. But we basically dominated that side of the tournament with the girls. You know, we won all the singles matches except 1 in the top 6 and won 2 out of the 3 of the doubles matches in the top 6, or really 3 out of the 3 doubles matches. We won them all 3. And no, I'm sorry, we won 2 out of 3. And so anyway, that was a very good showing for the girls. Basically, it was the same team that we played last year, when we sort of struggled trying to beat those girls last year. But this year, we just handed it to them. With the new players we got, we're a lot stronger on the girls' side. On the men's side, we had, I said, Bellarmine, Union, University of the Cumberlands, and LMU. That's a strong field. We had all 6 players in singles go to the finals of that tournament. We won 4 of the 6 singles brackets. We lost one of the singles brackets in a tiebreaker and had a match point in that one. So we almost won 5 of them. We won 2 out of the 3 in the doubles. We won 2 number 2 doubles, 1 number 3 doubles. Some of the new players were very excited. It was the first big wins as a collegiate athlete, and it was just a good outing for us as far as both teams.
Both teams have now completed their fall off-season schedule and will begin their official spring schedule February 6th when they host the Patriots of the University of the Cumberlands at the LMU Tennis Complex in both teams' season openers. And turning to golf, earlier this week, the Lincoln Memorial University men's and women's golf teams were both in action. The Lady Railsplitters were in Salisbury, North Carolina, participating in the Patsy Rendleman Memorial Golf Tournament, while the Railsplitters were basically at home and playing host to several teams in the State Farm Intercollegiate at Wood Lake Golf Course in Tazewell, Tennessee. The Lincoln Memorial women's golf team finished in 6th place at the Patsy Rendleman Invitational on Tuesday. The 36-hole event featured 14 teams and 75 golfers. The Lady Railsplitters, who entered this week's tournament after back-to-back wins to open the season, were unable to repeat their early season magic, shooting rounds of 321 and 324 to finish with a 69 over par total of 645. That was 3rd best among the 5 South Atlantic Conference schools competing in the event. West Georgia captured the Patsy Rendleman title with a 31 over par with a scores of 297 and 310, beating out UNC Pembroke, who posted team scores of 299 and 310 by just 2 strokes. Tusculum notched the highest finish among the SAC programs at 630, while King 633 and Lenore Rhine 635 rounded out the top 5. The Railsplitters held a 2-stroke lead after 36 holes on Monday and posted a 7 under par 281 in Tuesday's final trip around Wood Lake Golf Course. But Carson Newman entered the last round in 2nd place and recorded a 10 under par 278 to complete the comeback and become the first team other than Lincoln Memorial to win the State Farm Intercollegiate title since 2012. The Eagles shot 8 under par on the back 9 alone as all tournament team performers Andrew Hall and Dalton Reese combined to play the course's last 9 holes at 10 under par. Reese eagled the par 5 17th and birdied the difficult 18th hole to all but clinch the win for Carson Newman, who finished with a 3-round total of 850, 14 strokes under. Well, that's about all the action from last week. Now, we've got a lot going on in the week ahead, and much of that includes Lincoln Memorial University basketball as practice officially got started today. We're going to talk with head coach Josh Schertz about his 2015-16 Railsplitters when we return right after this.
Established in 1982, Dixie Roofing Incorporated of La Follette has been the industry's leader in commercial roofing throughout Knoxville, Tennessee and surrounding counties for more than 30 years. From medical facilities to office buildings and educational institutions, Dixie Roofing has the experience, expertise, equipment, and know-how to handle roofing needs of any commercial structure, big or small. Dixie Roofing is also on the web at www.dixieroofing.com. Dixie Roofing Incorporated.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Everywhere.
Back to the show. Earlier this afternoon, the Lincoln Memorial University men's basketball team officially opened practice for the 2015-16 season. And I know, Coach, that you've had some individual workouts going on for several weeks and so forth, and been doing some agilities and skill building type things with those players on your squad this year. But this is the first time that you really have had the opportunity and the liberty to do what you will for the time period that you've got with the entire team.
Yeah, you know, the preseason's long, and so, you know, it's you can do now, you know, 2 hours a week, whether it's individual stuff or you can do team workouts. And so we've done some team stuff just with very limited, you know, time frames. And you know, so we use the preseason to kind of relearn some habits, whether that's on the defensive side of the ball or build some execution, offensive habits. But again, you know, you're just really limited from a time standpoint. Starting with today's practice, you get those hours restrictions come off. You know, you go from really 2 hours a week on the court to up to 20 hours a week on the court, and you get into season. So that being said, it's a late start compared to the, you know, Division I level, other levels. So we have with the schedule we have coming early, there's certainly a sense of urgency about getting to work and maximizing the days we have between now and tip-off on November 13th.
Throughout your tenure as head coach, each time a season passes and we begin a new one, there's so much buzz and expectation about the team and the season to come. Last year's finish, I think most wins in a single season for the men's basketball program, and I think in the history of the LMU men's basketball program. Just a tremendous year, more championships under the belt, et cetera, another NCAA appearance. But it comes a little bittersweet in that you lose a couple of guys who've been with you for a long time. In fact, all three. KP is now playing overseas on the professional level. CJ Wakely you lose. And, of course, Lorenzo Ross, your starting point guard for the last 4 years.
Yeah, we lost three really good players. You know, CJ was kind of injury riddled throughout his 4 years here, but he was a guy that certainly you know, played minutes for us, did a nice job, and was really when he was healthy a contributor for us. And then with KP, Keenan Peterson, and Lorenzo Ross, you're losing two guys that are pros now. Lorenzo was an All-American last year and the SAC Player of the Year. KP was a all-conference big man. So we do have some questions to answer. I think that's been kind of the way it's been here over the years. We've lost guys and had to kind of replace them, and so we'll see how if guys can step up and change roles, and we're going to have some guys that are inside of our program to step up and play bigger roles. That answer, of course, gets me into my next question. I mean, we've learned through your tutelage, I guess, if you'd call it that, over the last few years, that you don't really replace guys. They kind of bring their own game to the table and their own style and flavor. That said, obviously, you've got some quality returning players. Laquan Choice, preseason All-American. You've got a very solid foundation of guards and inside play to go along with him, but you've got a lot of new faces that are going to come in and bring a different flavor to the LMU inside and outside game. Yeah, you know, we have to evolve and tweak things, take advantage of our personnel, and you know, certainly we're hoping that we can get, you know, when you look at it, we have 8 returners that played significant minutes. We returned 8 of our top 10 scorers. And then you know, you got a guy like Nixon Blanc that redshirted last year. He was a big, you know, 6'6", 260. Jalen Steele coming in a 1-year scenario. So we got to acclimate some of those guys to it, and we got to find a way to play that kind of obviously maximize our strengths, minimize our weaknesses. But it'll be different than it was last year. We don't have a guy like Lorenzo that can just put relentless pressure on the rim off the bounce and create shots to those guys. And then on the inside, you know, Emmanuel Terry is a much different type of big man than Keenan Peterson. So we got to do some different things to help those guys be successful. And every year, as you know, we try to tweak it and play to our personnel, and we'll do that again and try to figure out the best way for this group to play. First official week of practice. I mean, you've gone through what you call boot camp for some time now, but first official week of practice got started today. What are your hopes and expectations, your goals, if you will, for this team over the next 2-week period before we make the turn into November and start preparing for our season opener? Well, we've got to build habits. I mean, you know, we've got to build solid habits on both sides of the ball. You know, when you go play at the end of the day, that's kind of, you know, you rely on that. You know, 95% or 98% of my work is done on the practice floor. We get to the games, you know, you're subbing people, calling plays, and maybe changing some things not working. But the habits, this is a really important part of the year. This is where you set your foundation. Every drill matters, every day matters, everything you're doing matters. And so hopefully in 2 weeks we've got, we're in good shape from a physical standpoint, conditioning, and our habits, our execution are light years ahead of where they were today, because obviously there's an incredibly long way to go in every capacity, from offensive execution to defensive execution. We're obviously starting from ground zero.
Well, this year's schedule is not one that really backs down from anybody. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, you're going to open the year with King on the road at their place. I think you've got Lees-McRae in the second game of that crossover classic that weekend, predetermined opponent. You look through the South Atlantic Conference schedule, which we all know gets started ridiculously early, but it is what it is. And then right after you go into the Christmas holiday break, and we've got some other teams in there that are going to be quality opponents, by the way. But you come back for the new year. Happy New Year! You get to go up to Louisville, Kentucky, and take on nationally ranked Bellarmine.
Yeah, you know, you look at our schedule. You know, King is in the Division II Bulletin receiving votes, top 30 team in the country. They returned 4 starters from a 24-6 team. That's opening game. Lees-McRae, which won a school record 15 games, brings a lot of guys back. And then obviously, you know, you jump into South Atlantic Conference play. Carson Newman's our first home game in the South Atlantic Conference, and that's brutal. 6 games before Christmas, and then you come back with Bellarmine. So it's going to be relentless. We're going to have to be very, very good to have a chance to be in the mix to win those games. And so that's what we're doing now, is trying to get some habits that we can utilize to be able to play and compete.
You're seeing some practice footage from earlier today. There you've got the guys working out, not in their original practice jerseys and so forth, but nonetheless a practice and a lot of quality personnel. What can, in approximately 15 seconds, Coach, what can LMU fans expect this year from this team?
Well, hopefully a group that really is exciting, plays hard, plays together, is a team group, and should have some terrific talent on the post and the perimeter, and hopefully a group that guards and competes. So if we do that, we'll have a chance to be pretty good with the talent we have. Well,
I can speak, I think for most LMU fans, we're very much looking forward to it. We're certainly looking forward to seeing this year's flavor, and I know that you've had some quality signees in the offseason, some red shirts that are now eligible, and we want to wish them the best of luck out there, but it's hard to believe it's basketball time again, and you're back with us for another season.
I'm looking forward to it and excited to get rolling. Hope to see everybody out here on November 19th on our home opener.
You can keep up to date with Josh Schertz and the Railsplitters by pulling up the LMU Athletics website, www.lmurailsplitters.com. Click on men's basketball, tell you everything you want to know about the Lincoln Memorial University men's basketball program. And the schedule's there too, so make sure that you have a rear end in the seat when we play our home opener up in November. Coach, again, good luck.
Thanks, Russ.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll close the show out. We got some more to tell you about, so stay with us. Welcome back. I want to remind you, don't forget that we've got football action tonight, not tomorrow night. Adam Haley will have the call as he will be calling Tri-State Area High School football. That'll get underway at 7:30 on our sister radio station, WLMU 91.3 FM. Pregame coverage begins at 6 o'clock, I believe, with some pre-recorded things, and you can tune in for all of that. Not sure if he's with Cumberland Gap or Claiborne this week. I think we had a screen, but it may not be available at this point. And really, as far as that, all other LMU teams on the road this weekend. So a rare weekend off for the LMU Sports Network, for LMU athletic training here at home, and of course for sports information. And I'm sure that that's going to be a very appreciated couple of days off, because for those 3 departments on campus, that is going to be the last weekend available until up around Christmas, or until at least the 20th of December. So, you know, there's about 34 weekends in the LMU athletic season or school year, of which we could work or be off, and we work about 28 of those. So if you think that there's some departments here on campus that aren't burning the midnight oil, you're sadly mistaken. All right, again, to keep up to date on all that's going on with LMU athletics, make sure that you pull up the LMU athletics website, www.lmurailsplitters.com. You can find all the latest scores, facts, statistics, player profiles, roster schedules, news releases, photographs, videos, and much more. Again, the LMU athletics website, www.lmurailsplitters.com. That's all the time we have for tonight. For everybody behind the scenes of the Railsplitter Athletics Report, for Josh Schertz, who was our guest tonight, we appreciate him stopping in. I'm Rusty Peace. Until next week, good night, everybody.